Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, July the 16th here, and we are inside the game on the National Soccer Network. I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Nathan Wangler. We are back. We took a break yesterday, not because of me, though. Not because of me.
Okay.
I was here.
Got to
right
rid
and
yourself
early.
of responsibility there.
I do. No accountability here for me. I was here yesterday.
It's true.
But you were not.
Me. It's me. It was me. It was
true.
me.
It's true.
Yeah.
He was not here. I was ready to go. And anyways.
The dentist has changed a lot over the years. They're all about the experience now. It's interesting. Like in yesteryear, they used to be like, get on you, do what you need to do, keep your mouth clean, this, that, or the other thing. But when you go and you got a few things they got to fill in, they try to spread it out as much as they can to give you a positive experience and to allow you the opportunity to I don't know. Someone must have been hungover. No, it's just looking after my oral health, if you will.
Oh,
So
on my sugar-free Mountain Dew.
There you go. That's
This
actually
segment
something they told me not to drink anymore was sugar because it can eat away.
This segment is brought to you by Zero Sugar Mountain Dew.
Do the do. There you go. All right. They're paying you under the table or something? Is that why you're working that in there?
No, not at all. Next part of the segment of broadcast brought to you by Salt Athletic.
Nice. So that's an actual one. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, no.
For your pain, Advil.
Natural spring water.
Meyer. Just start grabbing products and start putting them in the screen.
Root beer barrels.
Oh, that's candy.
Yeah.
That's sugar right there.
See, that I can't have anymore.
We just lost 100 viewers just because of that. Just gone.
Because of candy?
No, not because of the candy, because we were product dropping in the broadcast.
Brought to you by this pen.
This shitty pen.
Sell me this pen.
You're
a salesman, right? Sell me this pen. JT, do it.
I'm good. Thank you very much, though.
Okay.
But either way, it's Wednesday. Lot to get to today. Playoffs are underway everywhere. And we started USL League 2 last night. There were 3 games taking place last night. They were playing games. So 6 teams played, 3 winners. Western Mass Pioneers beating Long Island Rough Riders. They did that 2-0. You had Lions Bridge. I'm not right who they took on, but they won like 4-1. And then you also had, I'm trying to draw a blank. It's so many games in my brain right now. But other team won too, and now they're on. But we did those 3 games yesterday, plus our USL 2 goal zone. So that was fun to be able to pull off. It was really cool being able to do all of that. Big announcement this morning. Big announcement. We did the USLW. Right, we did all those playoff games, all 14, leading up to this past weekend, Saturday. Minnesota Aurora falling short, Utah United, NC Courage beating Asheville City. So NC Courage, Utah United. Utah United's hosting that game at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night for a USLW National Championship, and yours truly, alongside Nathan Wangler, will be the ones commentating on that game. Full production brought to you by the National Soccer Network Premier Media Group. So a big announcement for us. We're doing a national championship game here on Saturday night. Aren't you excited?
I'm pumped, man. And not only that, congratulations to 17 Castaigne for Utah United. Just got the Golden Boot Award. So that's really excited for that club in Utah, and did a whole interview, and USLW actually just put up a good write-up on her. She goes to Texas Christian University, so go Frogs. I got a little bit of personal beef with TCU because, a little history there. But she goes, I'm super grateful that I was given a platform in a league where I can improve and work on the things that'll make me successful in the fall. Team gave me the ability to be successful. A lot of player talk in there, but she also talked about the training environment in Utah United that's challenged her, and 17 goals, I think, leading into this game, 7 of 9 matches, 531 minutes. I mean, in the Mountain Division title, she was the player. But had her 17 goals over a quarter of Utah's league high 61 as a team this year. 3 more goals in the team's first 2 playoff matches. Yeah, she's been the straw that has stirred the drink in a lot of ways. So I know a lot of those awards are being given out right now, but she's going to be fun to watch go to work. And like I'm saying, man, one more away from them. So they've really put a lot of great players on the table. So interested to see what she can do and if they can finish it off. But yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, no. So we'll have that. We're working on the format of that show, that whole thing. But pregame show will come to you live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I think full coverage begins at 8 o'clock. So we have a whole bunch of fun coming your way here on Saturday night. So
I do like the dynamic of a team going back for the 3rd straight time, though, and then a newbie in there too. That's some fun storylines set up for you, because I know NC Courage has a reputation, but I would say Utah has some good pieces. But anyways, as you were saying.
Yeah, no, like I said, we're excited about it. We have 16 games on Friday, so that's going to be fun. You can't not have fun when you've got 16 games to to produce on Friday. So we'll figure that out. We had the Flint City Bucks that we're calling as well on Friday, and so that'll be a fun one. I have an NPSL game here tonight. And so that should be a fun game as well. It's Michigan Rangers taking on Siouxland United. That game kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern. That'll be on the National Soccer Network on YouTube and on Roku TV. So exciting stuff.
Is there a team called FC Motown in the USL too?
There is, but they're not from Motown. So
that's what I'm saying. It's what are we doing here? Is that what they call Morristown, New Jersey? I didn't realize this. It's not Motown. Yeah. It's not the real Motown.
No, I feel like someone should be in trouble for that. I don't know how you can call yourself Motown.
What are we
when
doing?
You're
here?
not from Motown. I mean,
I mean, okay, all right, that's fine. I'm just saying.
There are a lot of Dutch Lions teams out there. There's like a ton of Dutch Lions.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's the same. I think that you can be a Dutch Lion anywhere in the world if you have you can, but you can't have a Motown everywhere.
And I know that this isn't necessarily along the lines of what we're going to talk about, but I do think it's so funny to watch when you see high schools or clubs or any of these other organizations either take the logo itself of a team, like a professional team, and essentially just switch the colors of it, because we see that with high schools all the time, or they take a direct copy of the fight song from a major school and they just use it. Like it's just funny to me, even or monikers like that. But I don't know. I mean, if I'm ever in Morristown, New Jersey, I'm gonna have to talk to a few people and be like, hey, I know maybe you call this place Motown, but this ain't Motown, okay? I'm just letting you know. Maybe we just stick with Morristown. That should work.
Yeah, I don't. I do not understand why you would. Yeah, I have been to Morristown, New Jersey, by the way.
Really? Okay.
But I don't remember.
How was that experience?
I stayed there for a week back in 2012. Yeah, 2012. So it was fun. I can't complain. I stayed in a hotel and I was in a building training for a week. So I can't really give you like the full insights. I went to downtown. That was kind of nice for a couple dinners.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it being called Motown. And so had it been called Motown, I'm pretty sure I would have, ruffled some feathers.
Come out of your skin, man. I would have been like, hey, now.
I would
simmer down a little bit.
I would.
Did you do your first desk pop?
No, I didn't. No, I cannot say that I did. But that's a great pull from
Should do it this morning though.
The Other Guys. Good movie, by the way.
Yeah,
with,
everyone's
Will
done a
Ferrell.
desk pop. I can't. I'm in my own house, so I can't do a desk pop. But you can do a desk pop. Anyways, we're getting off the rails. Continue.
So I don't even know where to go from here, from this perspective. But we're going to talk about the question of the day, and I know you have a question of the day. So let's start with that, and then let's see where the rest of the show goes.
Well, so the question of the day here today is, we were talking about we're talking a lot about the U.S. men's national team and what happened at the Gold Cup. And the one thing that I think is interesting about this show is, and I've actually had conversations with a lot of people as to what this show covers. And I do think it's interesting that when we step back and we kind of take a look at it, a lot of what we've talked about has been the national team, that has been a lot of our focus. And the reason being is because, number one, it's relevant, right? And number two, I think it's interesting to talk about American soccer because we're in America. Like, this is, we've said this even on our shows, like, our biggest thing is, yeah, we want to get everybody under one umbrella. We want to get everybody in one place, everyone kind of pushing in the same direction. And that's really important to us. But in order to grow what we're doing here, and this can kind of parlay into everything else that we talk about, because I thought there was a really good point. I was listening to Landon Donovan and Tim Howard yesterday, and they had mentioned something that would really help out the American game, and that's getting more players that right now are playing over in Europe to come back and play in the United States, because now in this generation of soccer right now that's in front of us, we have more Americans playing in Europe than we've ever had playing before. And I even throw it back to what Alexi Lala said when he talked about, really kind of being the first American to do that. Now it's a trend. Now it's happening all over the place, but it creates the situation where guys are so far spread out that, number one, it doesn't really, it doesn't really affect the American game, which we can talk about Major League Soccer coming up here in a little bit. I don't know if you've seen what Lionel Messi's been doing lately. It's just nuts to see what he's doing so late in his career. But it would be really cool to see all of them come back and play here in the U.S. just to not only build the game here, but to also build that camaraderie and give us hope that we can be anything more than just a round of 16 at the max. Because I think, JT, the problem here, and I see it all the time on social media, especially when I post these clips, is that people have this understanding or this belief that somehow we are way overconfident about where this team can go and what they can do. I don't think I can say that for you. I think you've been very, very cut and dry about where you think this side is and what their ceiling is. Now, I am hopeful that it could potentially be more than that because of obviously with the World Cup coming here. Now, do I necessarily trust in Mauricio Pochettino? I don't know. There's a lot of questions with substitutions. He doesn't really know who his set 11 is, which is obviously problematic, but it's because they're spread all over the place. And we're trying to play tactical to come back when we're down 2-1. And I don't know if this team knows how to play forward. But let's take a step back from that momentarily. I just want to get our official predictions on what we think coming up in the World Cup. JT, who is your World Cup favorite in 2026?
I'm going to go with Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
My wife is Brazilian. My kids all have Brazilian in them now. And they're due. They're due. They have a ton of talent, and I think it's Brazil. I think Brazil, and there's a huge population of Brazilians in the United States, so I actually think that will bode well as well. And so I think Brazil. My money's on Brazil.
You know what? So this is something else that we were going to bring up. Lionel Messi has scored 5 consecutive games now with Inter Miami where he's had multiple goals. To see that he's still producing on that level. And I know it's in Major League Soccer. Okay, I get it. It almost seems like a lot of nights he's just kind of toying with these guys. But to still be able to produce on that level at that age, it's weird because it's almost as if the comparison I like to draw it to, it's almost as if LeBron just decided like tomorrow, yeah, I'm just going to go play in Lithuania. I'm just going to go play in Lithuania for the last handful of years of my career. So we get a comment in here. Hot. Logan's first comment. I don't think he's improving the team. If you look at the World Cup, the team didn't pretty much provide attacking options besides sitting down and waiting for transition. He can ask more from players. Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
I gotta interject here. You were just talking about this in regards to LeBron James going to Lithuania. Okay, if LeBron James went to Lithuania and was scoring 100 points a night, which would probably happen, okay, I don't think we'd be giving him kudos for that. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just saying that Lionel Messi is running circles around the MLS because Lionel Messi is way better than everybody in the MLS.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi,
you're not wrong.
Take Lionel Messi and take him and just stick him into any game Premier League right now. He's not scoring that many goals, and I would argue he might only score one. Like, he is a fantastic player, but he is not the Messi he used to be, and he is further and further from that Messi every single time he steps out onto the pitch.
Right.
Now, with that being said, him score, it's great. I mean, it's great. I mean, he's scoring. And honestly, if you're a fan of the game of soccer and you're a fan of Messi, this is fantastic. If you're a fan of the MLS, if you're hopeful for the U.S. to come out of this thing with, untarnished in 26, you need to start drinking now. It's terrible. Okay. It just tells you, it shows you one player is scoring 10 goals in 5 games. That doesn't, first time in the history of the MLS, by the way. I mean, think about that for a second. The MLS is how many years old? It's over 30 years old at this point. And it's first time ever that we've had a player score 10 goals in 5 games. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so I love that he can score goals. I don't love that he's doing it in buckets in the MLS against other players who are also happen to be kind of like our, like the players that would be in our pool that we'd be pulling from here for the World Cup. In regards to Pochettino and his subbing and his roster management, there hasn't been a coach in the history of the U.S. men's national team that's had a consistent 11, like ever. Like, they constantly change them. There's never been that's like the 16th time in a row that we've had a different 11. You're going to have your core. Your back line, your goalkeeping is going to be pretty solidified, right? You're not going to be making changes to your right back unless someone's hurt. Okay, your back line is a really important factor, especially in a World Cup. You're not going to be making changes to center back unless that player is not doing well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You want to solidify that back line. That back line is extremely important. I would argue your back 5 are important. Not counting your goalkeeper. You're holding midfielder. That's 6. That's 6, 7. You want those players along with your back line to all be in sync. You know what I mean? Everybody else is up for grabs. Outside midfielders, strikers, all of it, all up for grabs. So those changes are going to come. We can always second guess substitutions. You know what I mean? I can tell you right now that I would constantly be second guessing my substitutions as a coach. But when you don't have anything to go out there and compete against those players, what substitution can you pull off that's going to actually have an impact? I hate to be Debbie Downer and Mr. Negative because I don't consider myself to be a negative person. I just don't. I'm very optimistic in most, I wake up every morning going, man, this is going to be a wonderful day. And whether it turns out to be a wonderful day or not doesn't really necessarily matter. But I have that mentality. I'm going to wake up here in 2026 in June, and the U.S. men's national team will be playing against some country. Don't know who it is right now. And they're going to lose on that day. They're going to lose on that day. And then they're going to tie the next game. And we're going to be like, oh my God, there's some hope. And they're going to tie the third game. And they will maybe make their way into a round of 16 or round of 32. It might actually happen. And we're going, holy crap. Like, look at this. And then they're going to get smoked. That's how we play these games. We're like, let's go get a draw. Let's go get a draw. You know, we're going to lose, draw. We might lose all of them. We just don't have the talent. We just don't have it. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. There's not a single thing that can be done in the next 11 months that's going to change that outcome. Because we're that far behind still. And so what do? You, like he was saying, sitting back and waiting for transition. Well, if you play Argentina straight up, you'll get smacked. If you play Spain straight up, smacked. Brazil, smacked. You play the way we play, it ain't going to be even funny. It's going to be terrible. We lost 4-0 to Switzerland. Now, you might have said we didn't even show up for that game. Fair. What would happen if we have showed up? Would have been 2-0? Would have been 1-0? Would we have won? You ask yourself that question. Every time these players put on that U.S. men's national team jersey, they better go out there and fucking win. That should be the mentality. We're going to give it everything we have. Oh, it's only a friendly. No, go out there and win, damn it. That's not their mentality. We can't win on talent, people. If you think we have talent, you do not watch enough soccer and you live in a dreamland. And start drinking now. Right? But if you think that we have a chance of winning by a team coming together, very much like we saw in the Gold Cup, fighting like hell, being physical as hell, being patient and aggressive, you give yourself a fighting chance. But if you think we're going to do it based on talent, you don't know anything about this game. You don't know anything. We don't have any. Now, we have talent, but if you're measuring said talent against everybody else, you know, the best way to look at this is like this, okay? You know how like college professors, you have these movies where they'd put the results of like the test out on the board, you know, and everyone would be out huddled around it going, what I get, you know, what I get, right? Like all the really, really hyper, super duper smart kids would get really in there, want to know if they got the A+, right? And everybody else is kind of huddled around, right? Because they're like, yeah, we know we are. I'm good. We're just kind of huddled around. And then the one person comes in at the end there that's like, oh, I got a D+. Like, that's us. That's us. You know, it's like, that's us. Where are we on that list? Peter's like, tell us what you really think, John. I am telling you what I really think. You can call me negative. You can call me whatever. You can call me against the U.S. men's. I'm not against them. I'm very much in favor of them. But what do we? Christian Pulisic. He's our best player. Who's our second best player?
There's a mountain of a gap. Yeah, you're right.
A mountain of a gap. And again, It's like, what do you? And the saddest part of this is that we could have been in a much better place. We could have been. And the whole Lionel Messi thing, it just magnifies it so much more. You know, it magnifies it so much more. Like, he's doing circles around the MLS. Like, circles. How old is he? He's almost 40, right?
38.
Yeah, he's almost 40. He's dancing around 20-year-olds who are playing at the highest level of their game. Again, I would love to see him implanted right now into a Premier League game, a Champions League game, same environment, and see how he does.
Yeah.
It would be, I don't think it'd be even close. I don't think he even scores a goal.
You don't think he could still compete with those guys?
Oh, I think he can still compete. But to sit, when I say this is that if you take the same,
no, he wouldn't dominate. Obviously, not
the same 5-game period. The same
5-game
period. Give him 5 games. You're telling me he's going. Well, how many goals does he score? What's the over under on that? That should be the question of the day. What's the over under on Messi scoring 10 goals in 5 games in the Premier League? 10 goals in the MLS. What's the over under on that? I would love to know. Because it infuriates me that we have someone as talented as Messi come over here and do circles around our teams. I mean, to be fair, you should just be kicking him. You should foul him every time he steps anywhere near you.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds terrible to say, but he should. He's gonna what? He's just like you. Like just chip about it, right? Like just no, I don't know, man. I mean, like I don't know. It drives me nuts that we're still here. I mean, look at Zoltan. Remember, Zlatan. Zoltan. Sorry, Zlatan, right? Ibrahimovic, right? I mean, what did he do? He came over and in the first game he did a half volley from like 40 yards out, man, in the back of the net, like a rope. Like he'd never done that in any other game in his history of his game of soccer. It's like on a rope. You know what I mean? Like scored like almost a hat trick in game 1. Was that 3 years ago? 4 years? I don't remember that was, but it was like
something like that. Yeah.
It just blasts one, dude. Like, my goodness. I mean, that thing was a thing of beauty. Goalkeeper gets chipped from 40 yards out on a rope. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like that when that, you don't see that stuff in the Premier League. I mean, you see it. You see it once in a couple years. You'll see you saw, I mean, Wayne Rooney comes in. He, on a corner, a game's ending, and a corner kick, DC United, he runs off the field, runs back to track back on because the goalkeeper's been pushed up. They're down a goal. He comes back with hustle and whatever you want to call it, slide tackles this player, gets the ball back, and then sends a 60-yard dime to the back post. It's headed in the back of the net to tie the game. The waning moments of an MLS game. That's the only kind of shit that you'll see in an MLS game. You wouldn't see that shit in the Premier League. You're just not going to see that. It's like,
right.
I mean, show me that in a Premier League game. I don't think that again, you can score a 60-yard dime. It happens when goalkeepers are off their line. I saw a goalkeeper in the Premier League once who was like literally in the net getting water and he got scored on. He had no idea they would have gone down the field. He might not be with us anymore. They might, it's like,
that might have been the moment.
I can only imagine the memes. Like he was like he's like his whole back. He was like this. He was like turned away. One of the best. Anyways, the level of player here. The level of player Messi is compared to the core MLS is night and day until the U.S. lives, shits, and eats soccer. That's not a thing, though. I don't believe that. We don't need to be eating, living, and eat.
We don't need to be eating shit, Peter.
No,
come on.
we don't need that. We have enough players in this country for it to be a thing. We have so many players. Our issue is not players. Our issue, to be fair, is not talent. I believe we have the talent out there. I believe we have it. It's, again, we talk about this all the time. Finding that talent, cultivating that talent, getting that talent to believe that they have a chance, and more importantly, giving these players opportunities. Those are the problems. We have our favorites. Again, I mentioned this before. Berhalter's son is on this roster. Right? And so Berhalter's son is on this roster. And you could say he might have earned a roster spot. I think that's shitty. I think it's shitty. Because you can't tell me, you cannot sell me that there isn't another player in this country that's equally talented or better than Berhalter's son anywhere else in this country. You can't sell me on it. Okay? Gio Reyna is on this team because of his dad. He has great talent. Great. What has he done for us? He's the most talented player on the team. What has he done for us? I have yet to be impressed by Gio Reyna ever. Pulisic has done stuff for us, but if you're going to compare Pulisic to Landon Donovan, I'm going to sit here and say, I don't think so.
No, because Landon, I mean, those guys haven't had their signature moment. Like when we talk about the golden generation, and that was, I mean, that was Taylor Twellman's work when he mentioned golden generation. By the way, we can talk about betting odds here for what the World Cup is here shortly. I know we kind of went a different direction than what the original question was, but he coined them the golden generation. But if the only signature win of your time playing for the national team is a 0-0 draw against England, then I don't really think there's anybody in this unit, including Gio Reyna, who was on that team. And obviously he did not play at all, if any, in that World Cup. Need a lot of, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, obviously with Berhalter, and we remember that drama during the World Cup. But a lot of these guys, you can't call yourself the golden generation if you don't have a signature win. And I know that we've mentioned how, and a lot of the different people that we brought on this show have all kind of echoed the same sentiment, that maybe some of the most talented players are left on the chopping block because of the system of soccer that we have here in the United States, the pay for play, everything else like that. And that was my whole thing to push back on it, is like, I do believe we have the talent present in our country right now. The only issue is that sometimes the people within the country, and a lot of them have citizenship multiple places, are not just necessarily from here. You think of someone like, Balogun, who would be back on this United States men's national team. Yeah, he was born here, but he wasn't raised here. And I would guess he's probably our second best option, at least from an attacking perspective, outside of Christian Pulisic. And I mean, I even saw an interview yesterday with who was it? Keegan Michael Key, I think it was. He's from Detroit. He's from Michigan, but he's not, internationally speaking, he's not a U.S. men's national team fan.
He's Belgium.
He's a Belgium fan.
Yeah,
because he has Belgium roots. And people want to cheer for teams that win, and I know that obviously Belgium had their day in the sunshine, but there's a difference between having talent and forming a team. Having talent, I just don't think that we can conclusively say that the U.S. is just so under-talented, and that's why we'll never – that may have been a case for the longest time. Like, you go back 3 decades, and I know I like to reference Alexi Lalas a lot of times on the show because he was on the show. During those days, yeah, without a doubt, we did not have the talent that the rest of the world had. I don't think there's any question about it. I don't think there's any question about it now. But I think where it's come now is that we do have the talent. Now the question is, do they feel like they can be developed here? Do they feel like they can get the most out of themselves here? Or do they feel like they need to go to the place that's going to develop them? Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, nodding your head to that.
And it's not about training. It's not about training. I mean, we could argue training,
but they're going to push
everywhere.
Him. Like, why would Christian Pulisic go overseas?
Because the players are better.
Because everybody catered to him here in the United States. Everybody catered to him. Everybody said, you're awesome, you're the greatest.
He's not going there because he's going there. Again, I say this all the time. Okay, you can play on your local team here and with all your friends, and you might be the most successful player on that roster, and the most talented. But you're not going to grow as a player because you're not going to be challenged in the environment.
Right.
Training-wise, we can argue all day long about training and coaches. I would argue that coaches across the country and across the United and the world are all relatively in the same ballpark as far as how they can teach and push players. It is the players, right? So him going across the pond, he's not going to be catered because the people he's going in across the pond, he's actually below them in talent. And so he is trying to get himself to a higher level. He's not better than most players over there. He is, in most cases, below them. And because of that, he is going to be challenged in training, in games, you name it. And so, but if we look at it from this standpoint, who is the best player in the MLS? Take out Lionel. I'm talking about domestic player. Who is the best player in the MLS right now? I'll wait. Maybe we can ask people in the comments
too. Luis Suarez? He's on the same
no.
team.
No, he's not. He's not domestic.
Oh, domestic. Oh, no. Okay, now I understand what you're saying. Ooh.
I mean, the best player in the MLS right now. So, according to stats, and right now, a 26-year-old player for the Nashville SC, but he's an English striker. So, again, this is Sam Surridge.
Yeah, I was just about
English.
to say that. I didn't know if he was from the
Diego
United
Luna.
States.
Diego Luna is the other player. Obed Vargas from Seattle Sounders. He's a 19-year-old midfielder. I don't know if he's from the United States or not. And are these players even playing on Team USA? You know what I mean? Like list the best players in the country. I can't even find a player. You know, I could go list a bunch of players on the MLS and start pulling rosters, but to be fair, that's what we should be doing. Who is the best player in the MLS that's domestic? A domestic player born and raised in the United States. Who is the best player right now in the MLS? And are they even on the roster for U.S. men's national team?
Yeah.
You know, that would be the question of the day tomorrow. Because we asked who's going to win the World Cup. Who's our favorite? None of us said U.S.
France.
I said I never said U.S. though.
Kylian Mbappe.
Mbappe.
That's who I'm rolling with.
Right. And so that again, this is what herein lies the problem, is that we don't have a player. And Peter's like, hard answer. It's a tough question. It's a tough question. I don't know an answer.
Oh.
Go out and ask 10 people. Okay. What I can tell you, if you ask 10 people this is a handball, they'd all say yes. But if I ask the same 10 people to name the best player in the MLS who's not Messi and who's domestic.
Radio silence. Yep.
Crickets. Hey, who's the best player across the pond? I bet you ask 10 people that, you might get 10 different answers, but they'll know. They'll say it. Mbappe. You know? They might even say Pulisic. They didn't say that. They might say it.
Yeah.
You know? But you aren't going to hear them say 10 MLS players. Who? Who is it? Now, Diego Luna obviously coming about. You might hear Diego Luna come in there, and that'd be great. But, gosh, doesn't that just seem terrible?
Yeah.
That's what the problem is. Obviously, we could all name NFL, NBA, right? But we can't name the 10 best players, the best players in MLS, and if they'd even make it to the men's national team in the first place.
It's a good poll, Peter. All right, so here's the question, JT. If they were to somehow miraculously do the thing that we never thought was possible, the improbable, the impossible, U.S. men's national team wins the World Cup 2026. What are you doing?
What am I doing?
What are you doing? You shaving your head?
I would shave my head. I don't care. I don't care about that.
I feel like that's not even that, that you got to go bigger than that,
I say tattoo.
Ooh, tattoo. All right, what's the tattoo? So now my mind's working.
I'm thinking U.S. men's national team World Cup logo, on my arm.
How about the starting 11 on your back?
No, I'm not putting people's names on my back, ass.
Come on, man.
No way, man.
Come on.
No way. First off,
I'll do it with you.
I'll shave my head. I'll get a tattoo.
You're not going to take a naked lap?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take a cold plunge. I'll do all 6 of them.
With the American flag, though.
That's
you gotta bring that with you.
It's a list I would happily do, but I won't have to do so.
All right. So mark it here on Inside the Game, the podcast, as we get ready here for minute number 40. To all you listening, if they do it, if they pull off the improbable, the impossible, JT and I are getting the starting 11 tattooed on our bodies, and then we're taking a naked
No,
lap with the
no,
American flag,
no starting
plus a
eleven
cold
tattoo.
plunge.
I am not putting another man's name on my body. It ain't happening, my guy. Never. I do
Not just
agree with
one,
this.
11 of them.
I am not doing that at all.
11.
I will happily put a U.S. men's national team logo on my
All right.
my carcass, but I will
Okay.
not put it
On your carcass.
I will not, under any circumstances, put that. Peter says, shave your heads.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's step number one. But for something that improbable / impossible, I feel like we got to go a step beyond that. You know, it's one thing to shave your head. We
No,
got
it's
to go
gotta
a few
be. It's gotta
steps
be something that
beyond.
you would. Again, it's like, okay, they win, you cut off a limb. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. That would be too far to one area.
win,
No,
Yeah,
you
cutting
have to
off
do
a limb.
something that you would be willing to do,
Yep.
and that I'm willing to do it. I'm not willing to do one of those things. I'm not going to do that.
You have to eat as many hot dogs as you can in 5 minutes. How about that?
That does sound like a fun challenge, by the way. But I don't know
Or
if
you have to
that's
sit in an
worth it.
IHOP for 24 hours
And stream the whole thing.
and stream the whole thing. There we go. See, now we're coming up with ideas. I like this. So to anybody watching this right now, if the United
Hour 2.
Oh, yeah, we might have to rotate a little bit. So to anybody watching right now, what would you do if it happened? But no, yeah, listen, just to get back to our point and what we were talking about, you're 100% right. And that's when I was watching and listening to what, obviously Landon was saying yesterday, he had mentioned how he and obviously a crop of a lot of other American players eventually came back from Europe and played in Major League Soccer. But I don't see that as ever being the case. The other thing here is too is like it just seems helpless a lot of days. Like it's one thing to talk about there being an issue in a system. It's a whole different thing to be able to actually provide solutions, to be able to actually provide fixes or things we could do to make that better or make it different. But it's what do you do? When we're gridlocked into the situation that we are in terms of the system that we have when it comes to soccer / football here in the United States, how do you even work around that? How do you even get around that? And that's why, like, sometimes it bothers me that there's so much time in between these international matchups. There's so much time in between games that we don't really get a good pulse on what that may look like. The only thing we have to build off of right now is what we saw in the Gold Cup. That's it. And what we saw there was, we saw a young, scrappy group. That's great. That's fine. But, to be 0 for 5 against top 30 teams, it's and I know we've never really been a nation that's consistently beat top 30 teams. I think it's interesting when you look at Greg Berhalter, like outside of Mexico, the only top 30 team he ever beat was Iran. And that was a 1-0 game. And it was off of, Christian Pulisic getting hit in the coconuts. But it was a great goal anyways. But that's the issue. Like, is there ever going to feasibly be a way to change it, to break it down? Because it's easy to say, tear it down and build it back up again. But how does that even look? Because we're still, even 3 decades later after the start of the MLS, we're still in the figuring it out stage. And that's the problem. Like I said before, the fact that Messi and Ibrahimovic and, David Beckham and whatever coming to the U.S., it's great, but it doesn't change the bottom line. It doesn't, as we say on the show, it doesn't move the needle for Major League Soccer. But
well, and I remember it got heated here a few weeks back. We talked about this. And you guys are like, well, the FIFA Club World Cup is coming to town, and it's gonna change. It's gonna help soccer in this country. And I was like, no, guys, it's not gonna help. I mean, and it didn't help.
Yep.
And again, anytime there's a big tournament playing in this country, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't help the overall broad scope picture.
It was the economic point. That's why they brought it here.
Well,
they
brought it here because they're using it as a precursor to
right.
to what's happening here in a year, and yeah, a lot of events will start to making their way here as a result of that, and in preparation for that event, for that tournament, and so yeah, absolutely. But when I hate that I sound like so negative. I hate that I come off about this topic so negative.
You just need a Snickers bar, man. You're not yourself when you're hungry.
I know. But I'm a realist. And for someone that, and again, you can't compare like coaching a high school soccer team or a club team to, but you can on some levels, because every one of us have been in situations in sport where you've played against a team that just was so much better than you. Like you knew walking into it, you knew going into it, you knew everything about it, that they were better.
Yep.
Everybody, you know, the odds are stacked up against you. And so you as mentally are trying to psych yourself up for that game. You're trying to figure out a way to come out of there without getting your ass kicked. We've all been there. That's every game the U.S. men's national team will play in the World Cup. That's every game. Right? There might be a game in there where an Iran or a Saudi Arabia, teams that traditionally, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, sorry. But, teams that are not necessarily what we consider to be signature teams in nations around the world. So if you draw them, yeah, you might be favored in those environments. And you're not necessarily stacked up against it. But you draw in Argentina, a Portugal, a Spain, an England, a Netherlands, an Australia, Brazil, France. I mean, any one of those nations, you are walking in going, holy crap. The odds are against you in every way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but do you think that like France, the odds are stacked up against? No, they're right. I mean, like this is a team that won a World Cup here, right? They just recently, England, Brazil, the Netherlands, Belgium. I mean, these are all these teams that the odds are not necessarily stacked against them. They have to still go out there and produce, and it's hard to do that when you have pressure like that. But they're carrying a different set of stress in their backpacks during the games. You know what I mean? That stress is different. They are expected to go out there and win a World Cup. We are walking in with a backpack that is of different level of stress. Can we even compete? No. Questions are being asked. You know what I mean? So that weighs different. It weighs heavier in a lot of cases. And when you're on a soccer field, you can see the decision-making process of players in real time. And the ones that are slower at decisions and slower, not as technical, not as tactical as their opponents, you can see it. Go watch any U.S. men's national team game ever against an opponent like England, and you'll see it. You'll see speed of play. You'll see decision-making. You'll see how we are a step or a half a step, or in some cases, 2 steps behind the team we're playing against. That's how you know. You can see it. You can literally see it on the field. It doesn't take someone who has a large background or history in soccer to really understand that significance. But go watch it. You'll see it. The decision-making that takes place, the positioning. It is very abundantly clear. And so if we look at that and take away the talent aspect of this, how does the U.S. men's national team in 2026 give themselves a fighting chance so I can get a tattoo of the logo on my body and not the roster? Okay. Here is the recipe.
Starting 11.
I'll keep telling you right now. Here's the recipe. Okay. You need 11 Diego Lunas. on the field. 11 of them, with 7 in reserve. Not 11 Christian Pulisics, not 11 Matt Turners, not 11 Ways or McKinney's. You need 11 Diego Lunas. You need disruptors. You need scrappy. You need hungry. You need all of that into a bundle. And you need 11 of them. All playing in the same cohesive unit, all with the same common goal. That's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you'll slap Christian Pulisic somewhere in the middle there and maybe it's 10 plus Christian Pulisic. But that's what you need. Yeah. That's your recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only way you have a fighting chance. The only way. You know, again, if you're telling me that Lionel Messi, I'm playing tonight, FC Cincinnati is playing Messi in Miami tonight, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Cincinnati, I'm their center, I'm their holding midfielder. I have to look at who that would even be. Messi comes in my area, I am slide tackling that guy. He is not scoring 2 goals against my team.
Yeah.
Ain't happening.
Yeah.
No, everybody else can score but him. There's no way he is dribbling through my team tonight and getting 2 goals. There's no way. And my message to my players is not tonight, guys. Not tonight, men. It's not happening.
It's interesting. I just got a live comment while we were talking on TikTok under one of our posts says, and I love the terminology that he uses. He goes, I don't understand how the men's team doesn't care, but the women's team are jonesing to play. Jonesing. I don't think I've heard jonesing in a long time. But I do think it is interesting there because obviously the women's team has succeeded for many reasons. But I do think there is some element of that there where there is a level of enthusiasm and excitement that comes with just getting the opportunity to play for the national team. But we just don't have that here. To someone like Diego Luna, it means just that much more because of what he's had to go through to get to that point. I think of someone like, now I don't think he is our best player, nor do I really think he should be center focused when it comes to the World Cup, but he still has a great story. You think of someone like Ajiman, obviously he's not, I don't think he's on the level he needs to be, but Division III school, had to fight his way through the crap in order to get to the top, which is just so, it's really inconceivable, and I was chatting about that with some other people. Like, how does he go from Division III to the national team? Like, I don't know, man. That's a tough route. There are a lot of I believe there are a lot of Diego Lunas in the United States. I believe there are a lot of players that are like that want to be there. Our issue is that our most talented players are not that emotionally invested. And maybe they were once upon a time. Like, I tend to believe that maybe Christian Pulisic was once upon a time, and a lot of these guys, but maybe because they've been through the ringer so much, because they've seen it, they've felt it, they've been there, and then obviously the disappointments when they did have those guys playing in the Nations League and getting bounced out of Copa America. I just think there's this undertone of distrust within U.S. men's soccer. Distrust, disdain.
I don't think it's distrust. It's like this, okay? The best way to put this is, and this is the most, probably the, it might be to an extreme, but I want you to put it in this perspective, okay? You've been diagnosed with cancer, and you've been fighting cancer for 15 months, 24 months, and you've been pumping your body full of every possible drug to fight. And you're fighting like hell, and you're fighting to live. You're fighting to survive for your family. And every time you think that you're getting out of it, you get put back down. And, bad news. And eventually you get to a point where, like, you know what? I just want to go. I'm not going to lose this thing, but I just want to go. I'm not going to lose it. I'm choosing to live. Right. And I that might be the maybe one way to extreme to look at that. But if these guys play this game, they're not stupid. Like they're not dumb. You know, I
Yep.
mean, I don't think Christian Pulisic is a dumb person. I'm not saying that. You know, they play this game. They know what they're playing against and who they're playing for. They know this,
You know.
and you can keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yep. If I have an interesting question for us tomorrow, if we want to tackle this, if our best athletes here in the United States played soccer, what would our starting 11 be? Would Kareem Hunt be our striker? Our main striker up top? It's a good question. It's a good question. Where would LeBron be on the field? LeBron's a big dude. You know, would Zach Edey be our goaltender? What would be our starting 11 if our best athletes played soccer/football as opposed to playing the other sports they played? I think that'd be an interesting topic.
That's a very good one. I actually, yeah.
Maybe we cook up a graphic or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Again, it's just
my mind's going.
like how excited would you be as a player to your team's always getting mercied to go play another game? How excited would you get?
Not very.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that the players themselves don't want to be there, but you keep getting your ass kicked. You know, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, look at all the franchises over the years that have struggled successfully to climb out of the hole that they're in. You know, it takes a lot of different people who have tenacity and grit to climb out of that hole and to help lead them to the promised land.
Yeah.
To be fair, I actually feel like we should start with a coach. Doesn't matter.
Phil Jackson.
Like, doesn't matter what coach, what sport, but what coach would you want to see coach in the U.S. men's national team right now to get them to be gritty?
Okay.
To be fair,
K. Actually, I take it back.
Well, again, Coach K was always blessed with unbelievable talent. You're talking about coaches.
Oh, Mike Krzyzewski's a legend, man. Come on now.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but we're talking about taking a bunch of players who are all quote unquote like, you know,
Tom Izzo.
I think that Dan Campbell would be great.
Dan would be great. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, X's and O's wise, what's his name? Coach over at Rams, Sean. Is it McVay?
Oh, Sean McVay. Sean McVay would be good.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one.
Yep.
I think you go old school. I mean, like Mike Ditka.
That's it. Hey, that'd be good.
Yeah. Old, you know,
I'm just saying, doing more with less. I feel like Izzo deserves a spot in this conversation, man.
I don't disagree with you on that.
But we're talking about the best here. If they were to play soccer as opposed to what they're playing now. So you know, Pat McAfee is not in my starting 11. By the way,
not Pat McAfee. Yeah, definitely not. But I think the coach is a better one because the coach, and then you build your team from there.
There you go. All right.
You know,
then we got to coach, and then we got to go assistants too. I do think Phil Jackson would be a good choice, though.
Okay.
You know, I think MJ's somewhere in that starting 11. You know, I don't know where he would be best. Maybe somewhere in the midfield. Not sure.
All right. So the question is it current athletes, or is it if we're saying any athlete from the history of?
Well, I guess current. Well, no. So it's
because I'm like, okay, you got like players like the GOAT, like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Are they in this conversation? Where would they go? I mean, I could totally see Peyton
Brady
Manning
Brady wouldn't be on the field.
I can see Peyton Manning with his forehead hitting some head balls in the back of the net, man.
Brady's about as fast as a telephone pole, so I don't think he would have anywhere on the field. So,
all right, well, Christian McCaffrey for sure.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Have him play striker. You know,
I think we have Jahmyr Gibbs maybe off the bench or something. He'd be fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of crazy little Antonio Brown.
Yeah. You know, if he wasn't, wanted for attempted murder, but yeah, exactly. Yep. Man. So anyways, worth talking about. Maybe we could, but who makes the team great? Coaches or players? I think coaches put you in a position to be great. Players make it happen. But I think Players win games, coaches lose them. So
Put that on a coffee mug or a bumper sticker. Yeah,
you got it.
I think it's great. We should start this tomorrow. Tomorrow morning here on Inside the Game, we will dive into who. It doesn't matter what sport. I'll take cricket. Doesn't matter. Who would be the best coach for the U.S. men's national team if Pochettino was fired tomorrow? It didn't matter what sport. Ted Lasso.
I do think starting 11 would be interesting too. Just to all the greatest American athletes who would be on the pitch.
Who would be on the pitch? I think it's great. I think it's a 2-day, 2-part segment. If we want to dive into I say we just create a list. Start with a list.
There you go.
And then let's create a list of players.
I know you're good with the graphics too, so I got to see if I can maybe send my list over to you, and we can put this up on the screen. Little formation, figure out where we're gonna go with it. So we're playing hard on the counter attack, man. We're playing fast.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then we're gonna go a 3-5-2, right? In that format, or a 4-5-1, and we'll put some really. Again, we're gonna play a false 9. Christian McCaffrey. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna send that guy flying, my guy.
Good. You don't want Kareem Hunt in that spot? Kareem Hunt's faster.
Maybe Kareem Hunt goes out wide, and we have Christian McCaffrey and him. They're playing off each other.
Just saying.
Yeah,
we gotta get like a kicker or punter in there.
You guys gotta kick the ball too. You know what I mean? Well, the kicker could. Let's say Bates, right? Kicker for the Detroit Lions. That guy can kick the ball pretty far, right?
Yeah,
get some kickers in there.
Yep.
Yep.
So we got options. Same. We got options.
Aiden Hutchinson, man. Center back, Aiden Hutchinson. What do you think?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I know he just retired officially, but Ndamukong Suh would have been great, man. That guy would have been biting kneecaps himself. He would have been, that guy would have been.
Yeah, but he would have gotten a red card like 5 minutes in, and now all of a sudden we're down a guy.
Give that man a fork and a knife on the field, he'd be good to go, man.
Yeah. People would be afraid of him, but at the same time, we might be in a bad spot once he puts us in a bad spot.
That we will. That wraps up episode number 119 here today. We're at 120 here tomorrow, but Inside the Game is officially over here today. We'll talk about who, of any sport in this country, can play for the U.S. men's national team. We'll do that tomorrow, along with who would we coach as well. Why not? We'll dive into that tomorrow and much more here on Inside the Game. For Nathan Wangler, I'm Jonathan Turner. We'll see you next time. More Inside the Game right here on the National Soccer Network.